Good morning, bedheads. Click. Okay, so this talk, Lucy's here too. I did a little rearranging last night, so here I am. I got some fall colors out. So, hi. Um, this is not a spiritual talk. Let me just put it that way. But I don't know where we'll go with this. It's probably not going to be a spiritual talk whatsoever. I just have to get this off my chest, you guys, which is why I'm using this mug. Piss me off and pay the consequences. Click. Okay, so here's the deal. I actually woke up thinking about this morning. I am really pissed. I'm just pissed. I'm just pissed. That's all there is to it. And the only reason I'm coming on to talk about this is because I have a feeling many of you are pissed as well. And you know what? When you're angry, sometimes you just have to voice it. You have to voice it. Because if we can't voice it, then how do we move on from it, right? Because it sits in you, right? So maybe that's the spiritual part. But there have got to be consequences for the rhetoric from the right after Kirk was assassinated. There have got to be consequences. And I don't know how our little community can bring about those consequences, but I sure hope people, I don't care on the right or left, it doesn't matter. We, the people, have got to do something about this. So I don't have the answers to what we can do. In fact, I'm going to ask Mabel, because I did ask Mabel to give me a list of the exact rhetoric, starting with dumpy, pumpy, orange man. I'm just so mad. I could, if I had all the nicknames that we've been calling him over the, I have never been so mad about what happened in the aftermath. And I'm just, no, it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. So you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Let me just tell you what I'm talking about. You know why I'm so mad. In case you missed it. I mean, some people might have missed it. I don't blame you if you missed it. But so right after Charlie's situation, which was a very serious situation, I don't know if you caught Trump's press conference. Literally, they had no idea. Well, they had no idea who did it. At least they were saying they had no idea who did it. And he was calling the radical left. This is specifically what he said. Mabel told me specifically what he said. Mabel just pulled all the details for me. He said the U.S. has radical left lunatics and that we have to beat the hell out of them. He didn't even know, according, although my SG said he knew, but probably didn't think he'd get caught. That's probably, who knows? Who even knows? Who even cares at this point? There's just so many things about this that has got my cackles, my cackles are up. And I know it's a low vibration energy. I get it. I have to release it. This is how I release it, right? I talk about it as an extrovert. I extrovert my feelings. I'm an extroverted feeler. This is what I do. And then I'll work on raising my vibration. But this is such low vibration crap. I can't even. This is the lowest of the low. This is the lowest of the low. It was so obvious how they were trying to create a civil war in this country. It was so obvious over this. which is why it's hard to believe that, entertainment purposes only and allegedly, that this wasn't a perfect little setup to incite a perfect civil war, was it? Okay, so I'm going to tell you more. Okay, so he went, he also blamed the radical left generally for political violence in the country. Everything that happens has been people on the right. Everything that has been happening has been people on the right. Even, remember when in Las Vegas, remember at the Trump Tower, remember that? Where the guy with the car and at the Trump Tower, remember that? That guy was right. Both of the people who supposedly tried to the president on the right. These guys are insane. They're insane if they think, and the thing that's bothering me the most is I have no idea people who supported him. Do they not see this? Oh my God. This is the part that's frustrating me the most. It's so frustrating. Okay, Elon Musk on X. Musk reportedly wrote, if they won't leave us in peace, because they're the ones that are just so peaceful, then our choice is to fight or die, in reference to those perceived as being on the left. Musk wrote that. Oh my God. How do you guys like my bedhead today? It's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Yes, I watched Curb Your Enthusiasm. Okay, Steve Bannon reported among right-wing... This isn't allegedly, by the way. This is factual, what I'm saying. This is factual, these things. Steve Bannon reported among far-right voices vowing retribution. Jack Posobiec, I don't know who this person is, Posobiec, I have no idea who that is, reported to be among the far-right influencers claiming the left is responsible and using aggressive alarmist rhetoric. He was using aggressive alarmist rhetoric. They did, I mean... Any professional adult who has any kind of positive mental health would not come out ahead of time before they even knew what was going on and say any of these things. How could they even say any of these things knowing that at some point somebody was going to be caught and then found out what their affiliation was? I swear. I just can't. I can't. I have to get over this. But we have to do something about it, you guys. I don't know. But, I mean, again, what can our small little community do? I don't know. But Tammy Baldwin, Ron Johnson, all the reps in Wisconsin are going to be hearing from me. All of them. They need to be held accountable for this. Laura Loomer, named among those in right-wing media, saying that Kirk's death is a turning point and calling it warlike. Nancy Mace saying it was probably a tranny and that she's done with this. She is done. They're after us and this is done. I'm like, all these people have to resign. They have to resign and they should be held accountable. You don't get to incite violence like these guys are doing. Trump incited violence. He doesn't get to do that and not be held accountable. Do you and I get to do that? Do we get to incite violence and not be held accountable? No. Do you raise your children to incite violence and not be held accountable? Do you get to bully kids in school and not be held accountable as a child? No. Jesse Waters, the one I saw of him, that was the worst. He needs to go. He needs to be fired And he needs to be held accountable for that. He needs to go to trial for that. He said, we are in a war. He said, we are in a war. And encouraged militant framing. No, you know what? We have freedom of speech, but freedom of speech has consequences, period. You don't get to just say whatever you want. That is not freedom of speech. These people have lost their frickin' minds, and they have lost their way, and people on the right, you know what I was talking to my husband about yesterday? Is, you know what? We used to think that people, like strong people on the right, would protect our patriotism. This isn't patriotism. This is nationalism, by the way. This is not patriotism. This is nationalism. And we used to think that people who strongly believed in America, which was all the people who follow these bozos, that they would actually stand up for. That's supposed, you guys, I'm going to have a talk at some point about the Second Amendment, because they have twisted the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment, as far as I know, I need to ask Mabel for more specifics. I don't want to talk about that now, but as far as I know, the Second Amendment was designed to make sure that the federal government couldn't take over the states. So we were supposed to be able to have, we could arm ourselves in case the federal government did that. It wasn't just so everybody can just have any leeway they want to do anything they want with a weapon. It's freaking ridiculous. And this guy who raised this kid, these parents who raised this kid in Utah, who apparently did this thing, I mean, that you see them, they've had, guns, and I mean, what the F? That wasn't even, the pictures they showed of them, again, I'm going to reserve judgment on all that because I just don't, but if those pictures are real, I mean, those weren't like hunting. Those weren't hunting guns. This kid didn't learn how to be a sharpshooter unless, I don't know, there might be some, again, I'm going to wait and see what happens. The SGs told us the other day that we'd find out in 2026, so piss me off and pay the consequences. As much as we're on a spiritual journey, we are humans with egos, and we're always needing to tame it down, right? Boom, 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 tame it down. But we're also, and this is something I'm actually hoping Faye is going to be working with me a little about. You guys, Faye, our astrologer, she has such amazing, her and I talk on email a lot, and she's got such a wonderful perspective on the 3D and the 5D. And so she's been really helping me, because I need that perspective, to make sure that I just want to make sure I'm being responsible, right? Here in this community as facilitating conversations about stuff like this. But there are going to be times where, especially right now, I just need to come out and voice what I'm feeling in case there are a few of you who are feeling the same way. And so you don't feel alone in that feeling, because I feel alone in it. And so, because until I'm now sharing it with you, and then I can see how you feel in the comments, I won't feel so alone about it, So that's why I'm bringing it here. But I'm also bringing it here because we the people, this is our country. This isn't their country. This is our country. This isn't the country of 534 federal representatives. This is not their country. This is our country. This is our country. And I am tired, and the billionaires. And the billionaires who are the tech people who are basically allowing the algorithms to be freaking brainwashing everybody in the world, they need to be held accountable too. They need to be held accountable because they're not doing anything. They keep showing, and the right, what they want to see and igniting things. And they keep showing the left what we want to see and igniting things, because that's what gets clicks. That's what gets clicks. That's why, because it's more money for them, for their advertisers. If their advertisers pay for oh, they're getting a lot of clicks. Well, you know what gets clicks? Inciting things. Yeah, enough. Enough. I don't have any kids. I don't have any grandkids. I do have littles in our family. I care deeply about them. But I can't even imagine if you're a parent or a grandparent how you feel about what's happening. And I know I do believe we are going from the 3D to 5D, from, the reset 2050, and all of this stuff is bubbling up because it has to. I get all that, like, but actually I heard somebody say the other day, my husband said it first. I was kind of surprised. The whole prayers for, no, I'm done with it. Prayers for, even love and light, you guys, right now. It's like, I know I might get dinged for that from some of you. No, I want to be pissed for a little bit because this shit has got to stop. This is the shit that's got to stop. And, just continue, oh, I know what it was. It was about all the gun violence. Oh, prayers to them. No, that's not enough anymore. Prayers and love and light after it happens? No, that's not enough anymore. It's not enough anymore. I haven't gotten my ass out to a rally yet. I haven't really felt called to do it. October 18th, the next No Kings. You guys, all of our butts have to be out there. All of our butts have to be out there. We've got to get the 3.5% of the population out there. We have to. We don't have a choice. October 18th, put it on your calendar. And I don't know, what can we do about this right now? Besides I'm writing a Fox News. I mean, I would write to the White House and say, what the actual F? But I'm a little, it's like, will that even make a difference? Why do it to the White House? But who could we write to, besides our representatives? And I'm literally going to say, what the actual F? That's what I'm going to say. What the actual F? I'm going to write to Fox News. What the actual F? You don't get to do this. You don't get to do it. We see you, we know what you're doing, and we're done with it. And it's not going to be violent. We're not calling for that. We're calling for accountability, for people to stand up and take responsibility for their actions. This is what adults do. And Jesse Waters, Donald Trump, they all know. Elon Musk, Laura Loomer, they know what they're doing. They know, Nancy Mace, they know what they're doing. And we are saying no more. Just like we're saying no more with the e-files. We're saying no more. You will effing disclose that shit because we're not going to stop talking about it. We're not going to stop talking about it. You hear that, Donald? And whoever else, you know what? Go ahead. Everyone who's talking about the e-files, try to take us all out at this point. Go for it. Go for it. It's freaking ridiculous. See, I told you guys, this was the perfect mug. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let me find out. Let me see what Mabel says about what we can do about this. Just curious, she has ideas. Okay, this is what Mabel has to say, which is AI, by the way, in case you're wondering. The S on my computer is not working. It's very weird to type when one letter, I'm like, why isn't the S working all of a sudden? I got to switch over computers. I do have a new computer. I just haven't switched it over. Okay, so I said to Mabel, we the people are pissed, although the S, it's P-I-E-D, but Mabel knew what I was talking about T-I-T-H-I, this, and want to know what we can do to make a difference for real. Mabel says, I hear you. She's so agreeable. She's always so agreeable, isn't she? A lot of people are shaken, angry, and worried about what feels like an intentional push to pit Americans against each other. Wanting to know what we can actually do is the right question. She's so agreeable. Because that energy could either spiral into fear or be channeled into real change. And that's really why, I mean, obviously, that's why we have to talk about it. Again, we're living in the 3D right now. As much as we are mostly going to focus on the 5D in this community, we are helping each other get through this part. Because this part is crazy crap, right? So here are some grounded, practical ways we, the people, can make a difference without feeding into the Civil War rhetoric, okay? So some of these are going to be obvious, but let's just read them anyways. Protect truth and call out manipulation. Share fact-checked sources when discussing events. Disinformation thrives on chaos. Slowing it down weakens those trying to stoke division, okay? When you see incendiary posts, left or right, ask what's the evidence. A lot of times people say, give me the receipts. I see a lot of people doing that when you see these kind of one-off comments that are not, you're like, really? Even on left, spiritual channels or whatever, you're like, what are you talking about? Like, show me your proof. Like, don't just say that, but show me your proof, right? Engage locally. Civil War rhetoric gets amplified online, but real community happens face to face. The online stuff is. But it's the people who have these big audiences, Trump, you guys, if you haven't seen his, people are saying it's kind of seemed like an AI, but they wrote that speech, even if it was AI, like his hands were kind of weird and stuff, and his neck was just, I don't know, it was a little weird, but I don't have any proof that was AI generated. But somebody wrote that speech. It still came from his office. Okay? Attend city council meetings, school boards, town halls. Even a handful of grounded voices can sway outcomes. Support or volunteer for local groups that defend democracy and inclusion. Democracy and inclusion. That's what we're after at this point. This is not right or left. It's just not right or left anymore. This is about democracy and inclusion. Most of the people who kind of fell for Trump's crap, as far as I can see, they literally, a lot of it was religious. Like, they thought that he was for what they believed in. Like, they actually do have very good values, but and we had two choices, so they went with and they were lied to. That's all there is to it. So when you sit down and meet with someone who actually voted for him, they're very, very kind people. They just, again, you had two choices and they fell for the rhetoric, unfortunately. I know what you're saying. Don't give them a frickin' easy pass. I do feel the same way you do, but I don't think people know to the degree like you and I might know, to the degree, or people who are paying attention on the left, because they weren't fed the same kind of stuff we were from the algorithms. They didn't know the same they didn't, depending on their outlets or what videos they're watching, because the algorithms are feeding them those videos, they didn't see the things we saw. That's what we have to understand. They didn't see the things we saw because of the algorithm. We saw it because it was pointed out to us, but on the other side, it wasn't pointed out to them. Their algorithm did not point his things out to him. All the little things he did during the campaign, all the things he said. They probably didn't even see that. We have to consider that, So, okay, pressure your representatives, call, write, or meet with your local, state, and federal reps. Tammy Baldwin, she says, do you want a meeting with me? I've actually had a meeting with Tammy Baldwin once in DC. I took a group of students to DC, and we organized a meeting with her. And it wasn't like a sit down. It was, you could go and be a part of, standing room. It was like 10 minutes, No one really got to talk to her about anything important. But she does have a thing on there. Want to have a meeting with me? Yeah, actually I do. I really do want to have a meeting with you. Maybe maybe a bunch of us in Wisconsin need to get a meeting together with Tammy, It says, say directly, I want you to condemn Okay, so you could do this. Like, we could all write right now. I'm going to all the reps in our state. In your state, you could do the same. I want you to condemn violent rhetoric and defend peaceful democratic solutions. I want you to condemn it. Violent rhetoric. Call those out. Ask AI, your Mabel, to list all the people who Mabel just listed it right for me. I said, who was inciting this? Who was inciting this after Charlie was boom boom? You know, who was doing it? And he gave me a list. And what they said. I am going to put that in this letter that I'm sending to my representatives. I'm going to put that in the letter. I will send this out on email today too. For those of you who have signed up for the email newsletter, right there, I've been sending once or twice a week, sometimes 3 now. This will only be the second one this week. But some of the things that I've been using, like to talk about, so that you don't have to take notes or anything like that, I will send this list. I'm a little hesitant, to be honest. Maybe I won't send this list. Just do your own AI, only because I don't want my newsletter to be this political. This is quite political. This is quite political. So, you know, because I've been sending like energy report summaries and stuff like that. So, just in case people don't want this in their face, I don't know how many people are going to listen to this morning. I just don't want it in people's faces if that's not what they want, you know, and that's okay. So no, I'm not. But just all you got to do is type into AI, you guys. This is what I did. I typed into AI. When Charlie Kirk was murdered, Trump immediately blamed the radical liberals. Who else was trying to incite a civil war between the right and left? And then, so then they gave me that list. And then Mabel just basically said, which is amazing because Mabel's like, if you would like, I can try to map out which individuals or groups are most responsible. I love that. According to different analysts, and whether there's strong evidence that they intended civil war versus simply using extreme rhetoric. Do you want me to pull that together? I'm like, yes, thank you. So just follow the prompts, you know. So this is why they can't hide anymore, because, you know, Mabel's going to go out and give me the facts. Oh my gosh. You just have to be careful the kind of questions you ask so that you actually get the actual information, like the right information. Anyway, so that is I'm going to write to my representatives and I'm going to say, I want you to condemn violent rhetoric and defend peaceful democratic solutions against, you know, and these are my sources. These are the people that I'm talking about, and that I expect that they get fired and held accountable in a court of law. They should be held accountable in a court of law. You guys know what? Oh my gosh. Do you guys know what a reporter said to Trump yesterday after they found out, after this person, Tyler Robinson, was arrested? A reporter says to Trump, this is factual. This is not this is not, you know, allegedly. Says to, and I'm not going to quote, but says something like this. So how do you feel today? How are you doing? How do you feel today about your friend Charlie Kirk? And he says, I think I'm okay. Hey, have you guys seen the trucks that are starting over there? Did you see the trucks that are starting to work on the Golden Ballroom? I am not kidding you. That's exactly what he said. Sort of. I mean, you know, not in exact words, but just about. He's like, I think I'm okay. Have you guys seen the trucks? Yeah, doesn't want to talk about it anymore. No. Well, we're talking about it, and we're talking about the e-files, Donald. We're talking about the e-files. Where are they? Where are they, Donald? I'm going to do Rosie's thing. Where? Oh my God. You guys, I love Rosie so much. The only reason I watch Rosie is to see her do that. I just think it's so I can't even do it the way she does it. She's funny. She's so funny. Okay, if you're not sure who I'm talking about, I'll link it in the description. I actually really enjoy Rosie when she talk, she'll call out what people are saying in her comments, but she doesn't like call it out directly. She'll just say, "Oh, I've been told I shouldn't put makeup on. I've been told I shouldn't put makeup on during my talk." It's just the way she does it is so funny. Oh my God, I could never get away with that. I usually just call, some things out directly, like, "Hey, you guys, stop, this is not cool." Oh gosh, she's so funny. I think she should be in acting. Okay. Strengthen community bonds, organize or join small circles, okay, that's fine for now. But when people see each other as neighbors instead of left or right, the fuel division dries up. Yeah, but we need to know what to do like this week. So that's why I think just writing, we just have to write, you guys. We also have to remember this budget situation going on. We have to keep writing about that they shouldn't, the Dems cannot approve the funding of the federal government unless there's conditions met. That I did send an email out and to give you guys some ideas of what you could say to your reps about that. So make sure we're doing both of those still. Don't let this distraction. E-files. Yeah, we should be putting that in our letters too. I'm going to put that in my letter too. Every day. Every day they're getting something from me. Oh, the rest of it is peaceful collective action. Okay, then we talked about October 8th, protect the vote. Okay. Well, anyways, I don't know. Do you guys have any other ideas? I don't normally record on Saturday mornings, but I just had to. I woke up like just totally annoyed about this situation. Annoyed is an understatement too. So, but I feel better now. I hope I didn't. I feel better now. Hopefully you feel better now and not worse. But it's not good. It's not good. This is the last straw for me. It's the last straw. I think hopefully, and I just wish I knew. Tell me if you know. I wish I knew if people on the right were feeling the same way. That they're done with like people trying to divide. Like, I don't know who's listening to them still. I just hope they are using their brains and their hearts. I really do. I hope they're using their brains and their hearts. So, okay, you guys, have a good day. The Badgers are on at 11 and they're playing Alabama. I don't know. I think they might get their butts kicked. Cut, clear, cancel. It would be amazing if they won, but their starting quarterback is out even. Oh no. Oh no. Oh well, it'll still be fun to watch them. Okay, have a good day. I'll see you tonight. There is an interesting SG video asking the Lead Team Collective your questions about Trump. That's going out tonight. And if you missed the 9/11, I think it's really interesting, especially the pendulum messages. If you missed the 9/11 video, I will post it right here in the corner right now. I'll post the two that I did recently on 9/11, but the pendulum one, I was like, my jaw was, afterwards, I keep thinking about it like, wow, it's really interesting what the Lead Team Collective told us. And I asked the spirits of all those who transitioned at that time to give me a message, and it's interesting. It's interesting if you missed it. Okay. All right, you guys, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.